Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today, one of my favorite streamers is getting the short end of the stick in one of my favorite Civ matchups, as Survivalist playing as the Mongols in blue gets ready to take on the Bloodless playing as the Saracens in yellow. Now, while the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings, animal farm surroundings here, we've got a couple of pigs, some geese, some ibex. We've got the whole kit and caboodle here today. And try to go up to Castle Age ASAP because we are on Arena today. That is a good opportunity for us to take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Saracens are a civilization whose strong market can be used to gain an early to mid-game advantage over their opponents. To start with, their markets only cost 75 wood, and their commodity trading fee is fixed at 5% right from the very beginning of the game, which is significantly lower than the 30% that other civilizations have to pay when they, for example, buy food early on. And speaking of food, look at the adorable little pre-pepperoni as he waddles his way, so innocent, doesn't really know what's about to happen to him. Poor little Piggly Wiggly. Now, using this economic advantage, the Saracens can field quite a hard-hitting tanky army. Their foot archers come with an attack bonus against buildings, which makes their early game aggression a little bit scarier than usual. Their camels come with 25% more HP. Their trebs and mangonel line units can be upgraded to increase their attack by 15%. And their unique unit is the Mameluke. This is a ranged melee unit that comes with a pretty big attack bonus against cavalry. Where are these villagers going with their crooks? Now, axes? Where's that lumber camp? There it is. Now, if, as sometimes happens in this game, you've fought a particularly hard battle, some of your units survive, you retreat perhaps to the safety of a castle or your original settlement, well, then in that case, the Saracen monk might come in handy because he can be upgraded to automatically and passively heal multiple units nearby. Now, pivoting to the right side of the map, where we've got Survivalist as the Mongols in blue herding his herdables as we watch. By the way, the Mongols, an incredibly fast cavalry-centric civilization. Their scout line units come with extra line of sight, which on this map does help significantly in terms of exploring and looking for those juicy gold-inducing relics. Their cav archers fire faster. Their scout line units and steppe lancers come with progressively more HP in castle and in imperial. And their unique unit is the Mangudai, a fast-firing quick cavalry archer with an attack bonus against siege units. Now, to keep up with their very powerful, very fast army on the field of battle, the Mongols can upgrade their siege units to move 50% faster. I hope we get to see the drill upgrade. It does make their siege units look like bumper cars, which is super duper fun. Now, to help support their military endeavors, Mongol hunters do work 40% faster, and their houses can be upgraded so that they don't lose population space if they ever get destroyed. So those are the two civilizations we've got before us. I'll explain in a second why I think Survivalists here got the short end of the civilizational stick. But before we do that, let's take a look at the actual map in Arena. For me, personally, the most important thing I like to see, in addition to the actual spawn, which everybody starts with a little bit of a extra space to the back. It looks like Survivalist actually doesn't have that much extra space to the back. Might want to wall this off here at some point and get a little bit more exposure, although he does have a lot of wood to the back, so may not want to risk walling this off. But in any event, the important thing is location of internal resources. How close are they to these walls? Because you never know when your opponent, especially on this map, might want to tower rush you, might want to siege rush you, fast castle, and attack you with a big juicy forward castle. And in that case, you do not want any of your resources lamed. It doesn't look like either player has any of their resources very close to the walls, so good news for both. Survivalist with his gold and stone to the back. Bloodless, gold and stone also to the back. Both of them have a patch of 4 additional gold, so 3,200 extra gold. A bit of an exposed position, but we'll see who pushes into who. And speaking of who pushes into who, why did I say Survivalist got the short end of the stick here? I just disagree. Let me know in the comments below. This matchup is like that, what's the name of that old-timey song? Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. And that's basically what these Saracens are to the Mongols. I mean, the Mongols are speedy and mounted. If you're looking for speedy and mounted to kill it, I mean, the Mameluke is basically an assassin unit when it comes to that. If the Mongols then go camels, well, then the Saracens go better camels. And if the Mongols go siege, which moves 50% faster, well, then the Saracens can counter it with siege that attacks 15% stronger. And so we'll see. I think the name of the game here for Survivalist needs to be perhaps forget the relics and just take map control as soon as possible. The last thing you want is a Saracen. Man, we saw the Viper about a half a year ago playing as the Saracens, not on Arena, on Arabia, but he gobbled up the map and he gobbled up the resources, and he was just pumping out that ridiculously powerful but ridiculously expensive Saracen army. Ooh, I think I just heard a snow leopard growl in the background. But name of the game, I think, for Survivalist, let me know. Again, everyone in Age of Empires, you know, what's the what have I said before? When you've got two Age of Empires players, enjoyers, lovers of the game in a room, when you got two of them, there's 10 opinions. And so I think he needs to establish map control. The last thing you want to do is let the Saracen get up and running, because then even the Mangudai is going to be in trouble. You need a lot of space to operate as the Mongols. They're not exactly like the Sicilians that can push in with donjons, Bulgarian Krepost, super powerful Korean, Japanese towers. This is a civilization that needs a lot of maneuvering room, a lot of space for those quicker moving siege units. And so we'll see how Survivalist decides to play it. For now, he has seen all 5 relics. The Bloodless has also seen all 5 relics, leaving a big bunch of gaps in his vision. He retreats, and he is 20 seconds away from Feudal as his opponent already hit it. Forward Market, Forward Blacksmith are already here, and so Survivalist, who basically has the resources to go up to Castle once the next gold miner drops off his or her gold, and there he goes. The second these structures complete, he should be immediately clicking up to the next stage. We've got a market and a stable for our Saracen, so he's going to want to contest some of these relics. Survivalist doesn't even have a barracks. Okay, there's the barracks. And so the primary focus for Survivalist is to get his ass up to Castle Age immediately, and so spending the wood on the barracks does not quite fall into that game plan. Now that he's comfortably headed up, he can afford to invest in military infrastructure. I'm assuming behind this is a stable. Of course it is. Okay. This is, by the way, one of the things I like about Survivalist's gameplay and his streaming. Number one, it's incredibly relaxing. There are players, there are streamers who, you know, you watch their stream and out of nowhere, let's say they lose a battle, they just start they start yelling and shrieking into the microphone. And you're there, it's like 11 p.m., you're trying to wind down on your day, and the last thing you need is a jolt, a jump scare. Although it's not really a jump scare, it's not visual, it's an audio jump scare. And that is exactly what happens with some of these. I don't think I've ever heard Survivalist yell. I think upset, of course. Nobody who plays this game will ever not be upset with the pathing, with attempts at conversion, with directing your units to move left and they double back and move bottom right. Nobody escapes Age of Empires without some kind of frustration. But to be honest, Survivalist is pretty much as cool as they come, and he has played the Bloodless before many a time, especially when I've been watching, and so I'm very excited to see how he handles this. Not too sure what the whole point of the explanation of his temperament was, but the point is, he's in Castle Age, he's ahead about 25 seconds ahead of his opponent. And that's because he has one less villager. Oh, I remember why I was talking about it. Because Survivalist, in addition to being cool as a cucumber, his gameplay is incredibly methodical. By the way, first kill of the game, 15 minutes in. So he knows down to the 2x4 timber, 2x4 piece of wood, exactly what he needs and exactly when he needs it. And so the fact that he goes this first told me he did not want to spend the resources to build a barracks first. And that's just a nifty thing that he does. He just kind of calculates what resources he needs and he goes after them, and he goes after them based on gameplay. 2 extra town centers for our Mongol, 2 extra town centers for our Saracen. They are now on par when it comes to villager, and we've got our first Saracen camel. Not 100 HP, but 125. We better add some bloodlines to that to give him 145. And then all of a sudden, you'll see why exactly I think this is a anything you can do, I can do better situation here. How the hell can you compare 25% extra HP? And by the way, all of the blacksmith upgrades, and compared to the Mongols who are missing the plate barding armor. I apologize. The armor upgrades are not my strong suit in terms of the names. There are certain things that my brain just refuses to learn, refuses to hold on to. Call it what you will. I will be practicing and getting better. I do have, of course, a whole bunch of cue cards that I've created for myself. Will he get into safety? Yeah, he does. Not that I think Survivalist would have chased in with 3 scouts, but safety here. Relic gets picked up, and the first relic for yellow. Okay, Survivalist already has 1 relic on his side. 6 army supply to 6, but right as I say that, it then goes to 5 for Survivalist, who has his monk absolutely sniped by these scout units who need 3 attacks to kill a monk compared to the usual 2. Now we are on arena, and so I would be negligent to my duties and my fiduciary obligations to you as the viewer if I didn't go over the standard 3-part meta that every arena game, almost every arena game, seems to follow. In step 1, we've already seen stage 1, the players rush up to Castle Age, and once they hit Castle Age, step 1 stage, I keep saying step 1 for some reason, stage 1 is over. Stage 2 begins when they fight over these magical items called relics, and once all 5 relics are accounted for and have been stolen from their I guess native grasslands and housed behind a nice container, a nice glass container in their respective monasteries, all 5 are accounted for. Then we end stage 2 and we enter into stage 3, where the players build big ol' armies and then smash them into one another until one player just says, I can't do this anymore, taps out, GG's, and we have ourselves a winner in the zero-sum game that we call Age of Empires. For now, though, kill count is 1-1. There are still 2 relics out on the map. Survivalist with his, by the way, remember, line of sight +2 for these scout units, sees this monk from a mile away, and he's going to be able to get this monk. The fact that neither player... Oh my god, he's not getting the monk. Oh, I apologize. I thought this was just a basic 30 HP monk. No, Survivalist goes back and gets the job done. Oh my goodness. The extra 15 HP made him have to double back with the last remaining scout that he had out on the map, as the other one now chases another monk. Survivalist loses one of his monks, gets 2 of his opponents. Oops, sorry about that. My mouse got stuck on the edge of my pad here. Does manage to lose one of his scouts. So now basically this is the entire army supply for our Mongol. And as I was saying, the fact that he's not investing anymore into the light cav, whereas our Saracen did upgrade to light cav, which is not a super expensive upgrade. I think 150 food, 50 gold. And just shows you who is kind of taking the relic fight maybe a little bit more seriously. I think Survivalist, like I said in the beginning, he needs to exert pressure out on the map early on. Dare I say, even forget the relics. Stop fighting over the relics, because the last thing you want is to spend all this time only for your Saracen opponent to get a whole bunch of cavalry upgrades, even though right now he doesn't have any cavalry upgrades at all, and then show up with their camel riding badass army. That being said, these are, of course, just my opinions, my thoughts. Never going to be one to tell any of these players what to do. Both of them, by the way, missing bloodlines. What about the old husbandry? And the camel is out. Let's take a look. So our Saracen missing husbandry, and Survivalist, I think, also missing husbandry. By the way, scout cavalry unit. One reason, actually, now that I think about it, one reason he might be keeping his scouts as light cavs is because one little known fact about Age of Empires, a scout, their stats get better as the game goes on. And so in Dark Age, they're pretty bad. They're pretty slow. Their line of sight isn't great. But when you hit Castle Age, look at the speed on the scout cavalry, 1.55. That's why in Imperial Age, Cuman scout, not light cav, not hussar, just a bare basic scout, fastest unit in the game with that extra 15% movement speed. Whereas if you take a look at the light cavalry, when you upgrade it from scout to light cav, you lose 0.05 movement speed, and so you move it 1.5 versus 1.55. So maybe that's why Survivalist is keeping his units. So they are a little bit weaker comparing the stats. One attacks on a 7, one attacks on a 5. Everything else is pretty much identical. I think even attack speed is a 2 for both. but the movement speed is what really makes the blue unit a little bit more mobile, a little bit more versatile. He comes out to get a relic, but there are no more relics to be gotten. Where is the fourth relic? It is slowly but surely being shuttled over to the Saracen settlement. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Stage 2 of the game is over at the 26-minute mark, and good riddance to it, because we are about to enter in the next 2 minutes. Both players will be in Imperial Age, and Survivalist let his opponent take the map, and I don't know that this is going to work out well for him. Look at this. We got Redemption, Bloodlines, Ballistics, Scale Barding Armor. I'm not too sure why he's getting Ballistics, except for maybe this. I was going to look at his stone count for a second, but there we go. A castle is being dropped. Survivalist sees nothing. The Jon Snow villager, he knows and he sees nothing, and that is incredibly sour, but he is walling off. He is getting more stone of his own. By the way, Survivalist, knowing that the Saracen is probably going to be the one putting on the aggression because he has chosen not to. I love the backwards castle. This tells me Survivalist is expecting to lose a bit of his forward infrastructure. All of these high elo players, when you watch them on Arena, if they build their infrastructure to the back, it means they know they're going to get pushed into, and they're preparing. We saw Hera do it recently on Arena, that one game that I casted a few days ago, or a week ago. I don't know. Time really doesn't mean anything to me anymore. But we saw him do the exact same thing, build a whole bunch of backwards facing infrastructure just so he can survive, because it'll take your opponent a while to bust through this, especially now that you've got fortified walls, and then through this, and then through that, and by that time you'll have, there you go, even a second castle. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, I mean, actually maybe not, maybe this is just a repair. I was gonna say maybe 3 castle based on, actually never mind, I apologize, there are 17 villagers on stone, and so probably gonna see a 3rd castle. Now, will it be a reactionary castle? Will he place it, for example, right here? Time will tell. Both players are now in Imperial Age. Block printing, conscription, chain barding armor, chemistry, town watch. Our Saracen wants to hit hard, hit fast, and see as much as possible. Survivalist, seeing absolutely no ranged units here, feels safe to bring 8 villagers to wall that area off. But bombard cannon is being trained for our Saracen. That is one glaring omission from the Mongol siege line, is their lack of bombard cannons. It really is annoying for players that like a bit more mobility in their long range bombardment, let's say. Oh, a few villagers step into the castle range. So what is our Saracen doing? Fletching, okay. I'm assuming again for the castle. We've got camels, light cavalry from the previous stage, monks from the previous stage, bombard cannon. Okay, so he's gonna try to bust into here, but his army isn't really that great. Aside from the few light cav who have pretty decent pierce armor, camels are notoriously terrible when it comes to armor. Another defensive castle for Survivalist. Okay, so he is playing it very carefully, but he's got a whole bunch of Mangudai. He's going up to 15. Let's take a look at their upgrades. +3, +2. They are fully armored. They are just missing chemistry. He's getting thumb ring as well. So they're going to fire at the incredible 1.4 second delay that makes them deadly. And there is Bimaristan. I love it. You don't see it very often. Bimaristan will allow this monk to heal every single one of these units I just highlighted, except of course the siege, at a ridiculous rate, I should say, of 75 HP per minute within a 5 tile radius. And so in 4 seconds, there's going to be a lot of passive healing going on here. And that, by the way, works even if you target a unit to heal. So if you highlight the monk, right click on one of your units to heal it, all the other ones will get healed automatically and passively as well. It's just, they introduced it in the last change to the Saracens, and I think it's just an absolute ridiculously powerful upgrades. One of the most powerful upgrades in the game, to be honest, if I had to think about it. Just the ability to have your army last as long as possible. Bloodless doesn't see any resistance, brings in 2 light cav, wants to see what the hell is going on. What is my opponent cooking up? What is going on here in the dark recesses of the Mongol base? And I'm starting to get a little scared here for Survivalist. Oh, he's chasing. Uh-oh, turn around. Okay, he turns around. Now his Mangudai are fully upgraded. And let's see what he can get accomplished here. For now, our Saracen, vision everywhere. Forget your outposts. I like my vision to be a little bit more mobile. And so the scout line unit derps out a little bit over there. And here we go. He sees, I mean, he saw the Mangudai from before, the 3 that chased over here, but now there's a whole bunch. The bombard cannons are exposed. 1 goes down, 2 goes down. Beautiful. And this is exactly what I was talking about, the Mongols needing space to maneuver, and that's exactly why. Holy shit. He ran in there, attacked the castle, fired on his units, didn't even get a single Mangudai. 3 bombard cannons. Forget the light cav, who cares about that, but 3 bombard cannons for free is what, 1,350 resources? But Saracen camels respond. They're heavies. Look at that HP. This is the Frankish paladin of camels, but again, the armor is just absolutely terrible on this guy. Parties disengaged. So both of them sniping each other's siege. One with a ranged unit designed to kill siege with a nice +5 attack against it, and the other with a tanky unit who, by the way, take a look at the HP on at the bottom here. That's not all just that one monk healing that one unit. Again, Bamaristan for the win. Look at all of the camels. All of a sudden, they're in perfect health. Just like that. Now, let me know what you think. Bamaristan, pretty damn OP upgrade for a damn OP civilization with an OP unique unit. Now, look, I like both these players. I've said this on many occasions. I've said this many times. I have no vested interest in who wins the game. I just want a nice, fun game. I want either a fun or an instructional or educational game. Something we can all learn from, something we can all enjoy. Until they invent some kind of Age of Empires gambling, I have really no vested interest here. But there's a little bit of schadenfreude when it comes to watching Mangudai's pressed in here. I'm not gonna lie. I feel bad because it is Survivalist, and again, like I said, one of my favorite streamers, but go on Reddit, go on Twitter, go on YouTube, go on any forum, any post related to Age of Empires, and you will see many people complaining that the Mangudai is just an absolute OP beast of a unit. And so it's nice to see the Mangudai. I'm not gonna lie, it's nice to see a unit that is one of the most powerful in the game get ragdolled by some of these more powerful camel units. And holy shit, 65 camel units have just inserted themselves into the Mongol base. Pikemen are gonna be good. They're not gonna be great though. This is not cavalry, so their attack bonus is a little lower against camels. 1 treb falls. Mangudai, look at how fast they're freaking firing. The monks are coming in with block printing, are managing to convert a bunch of these Mangudai. And now the camels. He's lost 14 camels, not the end of the world, but Survivalist retreats. We've seen many a player do this before. They retreat to the recesses of their base, allowing their castles to fire. 1 kill for you, 6 kills for you, 0 for the one to the back. And there we go. Now the sour thing for our Saracen, or sorry, for our Mongol rather, not their Saracen, the Mongol, is that these Mamelukes deal melee damage and ranged melee, which means he doesn't really need to upgrade his archer line, his ranged upgrades to get anything. These guys immediately pop out. I mean, in 27 seconds, they're going to be elite, but they immediately pop out fully upgraded because he's already upgraded the camels to the hilt. And so no need to get bloodlines, no need to get blast furnace, and Survivalist moves out. Doesn't delete his own wall. What is he going after? Is he going after the... I'm having trouble seeing where the Mangudais are firing. Now look, if Survivalist can get a big old meat shield of pikemen over and over again, which, by the way, like I said, he should have no problem doing with so much wood to the rear of his base, and even down here, maybe he can hold on here. But momentum is firmly in favor of our Saracen, who has parked his ass outside of the Mongol base. He's taking the gold to the 1 o'clock position. He's taking the stone to the 12 o'clock position. He's taking the gold to the 10 o'clock position, 11 o'clock, whatever the hell. Ooh, they all miss. And that is problematic. The only thing our Saracen hasn't taken is a few bits of stone here to the bottom, and he's even teefing his opponent's tertiary gold. And he's lamed the secondary gold. Survivalist, unfortunately, he's down to his last gold patch here. Stone has also disappeared. He's replaced the quarry workers with farmers. And the good news, though, is for him, he's at 200 population. I don't know that he needs 141 villagers, Our Saracens at 125, and Survivalist, I guess, agrees with me. Never mind. I thought he was going to rush. I thought he was going to StarCraft-style rush his opponent with his SCVs, his drones. But no, he just wants to get that gold. And now this is all a delay tactic so that the gold miners can get a little bit of gold, but it's not going to work. The pikemen are going to get swarmed by the Mamelukes. And the Mangudai have to retreat yet again. And now he's exposed a whole bunch of villagers, but honestly, this is probably a good thing for Survivalist, losing a bunch of villagers. That just means you have more space for Mangudai. He's going up to 40 Mangudai, which are, at this point, one sniping these camels. For all the extra HP that these camels are, the camels are now down to 36 in number from the 65 we saw before. He's getting illumination as well. Survivalist, no upgrades at the moment. He is firmly focused on building up his army. And why isn't he building his army up more? Look at his resources. He is floating almost 2 castles worth of stone, 1,500 food, 3,200 wood. Interestingly, both of these civilizations do not get halberdiers. Kind of sucks for Survivalist that he has no bombard cannons, so he doesn't have his usual mobility. Both players look like they've got siege engineers. Uh-oh. In come the Mangudai. They should be able to get all 4 of these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at how ridiculously fast the Mangudai fires, but he loses 2 to conversions. How ridiculously fast this unit fires. It is just absolutely incredible. And right now he is going stables. I don't know about stables. Honestly, body block of pikemen, maybe even, I mean, it's easy to say siege. He's got no gold for siege. He's dumping his resources now into blast furnace. You've already got all of the infantry armor upgrades, so why are you going more cavalry? How many barracks does he have as Bloodless pushes into here? Only 6. Add in 4 more and non-stop pikeman production. Because together with the Mangudai, they will shred the camels. Unfortunately, though, oh no. Not enough pikemen, not with the Mamelukes to the rear. Camels move in. At this point, Bloodless doesn't really care. Look at his resources. Look at his production tab. 2 more trebs, 11 Mamelukes, 4 heavy camels on the way. Survivalist, 11 pikemen. So if he can hold on here over and over again, maybe he stands a chance. But nuh-uh, I want your gold. You have a, what's that famous line from There Will Be Blood? You have a milkshake, I have a milkshake. Something about milkshakes and straws in the ground. Doesn't matter, our Saracen is teefing the gold right from the very nose of our Mongol, who is losing control of his secondary and tertiary gold to the top left of our screen. Okay, thinks he can mine it at the same time. Camel has other plans. Survivalist is down to 37 Mangudai. In many other matchups, that would be basically an OP, non-stop, unstoppable army. But against the Saracens, Mangudai be damned. He is now having to fight to keep this castle alive. Now, good news for him, he's got 1,200 stone to keep the castle alive. And for all that our oh my goodness, our Saracen has been mining the map, looking at the mini-map, aside from these few gold miners here, he's kind of out of precious resources to mine. So if Survivalist can hold on here with a few more pike, he needs to rebuild his infrastructure, though. His houses need to be rebuilt. Sorry. He is pushing back. He's lost 1 of his 3 castles. Now the second is under attack. What was the point of going light cavalry against the Mamelukes? Your units aren't even going to close the distance. They're just going to die to those ridiculous scimitars that those camel riders throw. Ooh, things are starting to look real bad here with the fall of the second castle and Survivalists pushing in. But the Mamelukes close on the Mangudai. Tell me you don't love this matchup. Oh, and Survivalist agrees. Not enough time to get up the other castle, even though he's got 500 stone left to repair whatever he needs to repair. But after so long, after probing and testing and dipping 1 toe, 2 toes, 3 toes in the water, our Saracen just juts in there, places down a castle, takes firm control of the gold, brings his trebs, brings his does he have any bomber cannons? Yeah, he's just got the one. And that is all she wrote. Like I said, a bit of an uphill, short end of the stick battle here for our Mongol. And maybe if he had taken map control, maybe if it was he who was the one putting on the pressure onto the other side of the map and had a lot more space to operate, to trade out units with the better Saracen units, to bring in some siege, perhaps he could have taken the field on this day. But unfortunately, our Saracen, once we entered stage 3 of the game and all the relics were taken, just plopped down that castle and refused to leave. I love, by the way, that our Saracen just went for brute force. He's not doing multi-pronged attacks. He's not trying to come in through here. He's not trying to come in through here. He didn't go siege onager, even though he had the resources to go siege onager at some point in this game and cut his way through the forest. No, he just wanted a full headbutt his opponent, and that is exactly what he did. Mamelukes end the game with 58 kills, Mangudai 31. I would have loved to see at the peak when we had 30 something how many kills those had, because they were sniping camels left, right, and center. What a beautiful game out of both players. Beautiful aggression out of our beautiful but careful aggression out of our Saracen, and very careful defense out of our Mongol, who, again, let me know, why do you think he started adding in stables? Is it just because he had the food for it? I thought for sure he would start adding more barracks and go up to maybe 10 barracks and just endless pike production, because honestly, pikemen with a pike meat shield with 38, 37, 36, whatever we saw Mangudai behind them would be pretty bad news for our Saracen. As powerful as their units are, a trash shield of pikemen with this badass attacking on a 12 every 1.4 seconds is pretty darn worse. And so, unfortunately for Survivalist, he went the stable route. Okay, I don't think he had the resources to really upgrade to even Hussar. That is not a cheap upgrade at all. I think 1,100 resources on the whole. 132 camels, 74 Mamelukes, 88 Mangudai, and 184 pikemen. Now, on a 1v1 basis, this would be an absolute epic battle to watch. Meat shield versus meat shield, DPS and killer machines from the rear. 11 monks, 21, forget the third unit. PKPM, middle of the game, PKPM, a little few minutes afterwards. The economies, I can't see them being too dissimilar. Okay, our Saracen got about, wow, 2,500 extra gold. Look at the gold at the end of the day. Holy shit. Sorry to swear, this is like 16,000 more gold for our Saracen. And this is exactly, you know what? For 16,000 more gold than his opponent, to have it end like this is pretty darn good for Survivalist. I'm not gonna lie. Many other players would have died maybe 10 minutes ago, and the Bloodless would have like 4,000 gold in the bank. But Survivalist made him pay. He really made him pay for every tile that he took, whether it was sniping those bombard cannons or trying to take the gold or killing as many camels as he could or pumping out pikemen meat shields. Survivalist made our Saracen pay. Wow, what a huge discrepancy in gold. Stone, one castle's worth of difference, but a little bit of extra food and a lot of extra wood here for our Mongol, who at the end of the day needs it in order to get that Mangudai. 13 conversions out of 274 is, I'm not even going to try to do that math. What is that, like 5%? 4 to 5%? 2 out of 233 is less than 1%. That's the easy math that I can do. And our Saracen destroyed 21 buildings. Our Mongols destroyed 1. What building did our Mongol destroy? What did he destroy? What am I missing? He didn't really have any map presence for the entire game. That was absolutely epic. 45 villager kills to 18, and our Saracen killing those pikemen over and over and over again. 313 to 203. So about 50% more kills on the whole. And what a fun game. Kudos to our Saracen for showing us the absolute beauty and might of the Saracen army when you have the resources to get up to your top-notch units. Again, the Mameluke is just such a badass unit. This is more than 2 kills per unit. So kudos to the Bloodless for that. Kudos to Survivalist for lasting 50 minutes constrained in his base and having enough stone to plop down yet another castle Unfortunately for him, not the stone is not the issue. It's the time that's the issue. And maybe with a few more pikemen, he could have held a few minutes longer. But like I said, short end of the stick. Anything you can do, I can do better, says the Saracen. And with that attitude, it is the Bloodless who takes the W. But GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.